people who like brand themselves a certain way. I always look up to stuff like that. A big thing that's on my mind now is the investment sides of things, of like, working with more investors and also learning how investors think, just so I can be a better resource for people.
Absolutely.
And also a better resource for myself when I want to do more down the road. So I just keep an open mind. Like I stick with my daily grind. I still make my calls. I work with, I built a sphere of people that I do consistent business with, so I'm always taking care of them.
Yeah.
And then just trying to stay open to learning as much as I can.
Cool part about the industry is there's so many different ways to do it, but whatever your process is,
got to do it.
You got to master it. You got to dominate at that. And, like I said, some people, mailers. Well, if you're going to do mailers, you got to send out those mailers. Like, if you're going to call, you got to call. If you're going to do the social media thing, you really got to do it.
Exactly.
And you can have success in every single one of those ways. But really, at the end of the day, whatever your method is, you got to go all in on it.
Exactly.
And those are the people, because people like you'll see like on these forums like, oh, what I need to do, and people are like, oh, you should try this, and that's what happens is a lot of people, they'll try this and like, it doesn't work because you're not putting enough effort into that. They all work.
Yeah.
Like it's been proven over years and years and years that they all work. But which one are you going to really, hone after, put all the effort in, do some trainings on, talk to, certain people and get better at it and become a master, at that, just to speak on, Kristen, like she runs our social media, but she's always studying the game. There's so much free information out there. She's always, she follows a few podcasts. She has, we have a coach. And they're constantly
learning,
pouring into her and getting better. And, that's the goal is. And I know, you actually met one of the guys at the KW New England awards night that we had. You said that you reached out to him? How did that come about?
So that guy, he used to record himself making cold calls.
Yeah.
And he's straightforward and he doesn't pretend in any sort of way.
Yeah.
Like he's a real estate agent and he wants to help people sell their house and he displays exactly that.
Yeah.
So he would record himself cold calling and like I would listen to his scripts, listen to his demeanor. He never he literally would, every time he talked to somebody, it was like he was talking to his friend.
Yeah.
And I that was one thing that I picked up on was I don't need to sound a certain way. I don't need to sound super professional. I don't need to impress anybody on the phone. I just need to say, hey, this is who I am. I'm calling you because I want to help you do this. Could we meet?
Yeah.
And I watched all of his videos and that's exactly what he would teach and share with people. And then eventually one day I was just like, hey, I want to hang out with this guy. Like I just want to learn more about him and how he does this. So I called him and met him and we've been very good friends since.
Yeah. And and I would say that's one of the biggest things, to that point is, if there's somebody out there that you see that's successful, hey, we're in the day and age. You could make contact with that person
easily.
Even with our coach, Kristen found him on social media. She found his number and called him. He's now our coach. He's been our coach for the last, year and a half. And it's like, if you see somebody doing, what you want to do or, they're at where you want to go, I'm telling you, it's sometimes might be the scariest phone call you make.
Right.
But you'll be shocked on how, humbled and, appreciative that person is. It's like, hey, man, I'm glad you even thought of me as somebody that you look up to. And I'll be more than happy. You'll be shocked how many people would gladly take, you under their wing and, pour into you and get better. Like, just like you poured into us when I didn't know what we were doing that first year.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes. And to that point, one person, one conversation, you have this real big desire to get to this goal can expedite you getting there super fast. Having that one good mentor, that one good person that can give you some good advice.
Absolutely. So, we talked about a couple people, guy in our office, that the guy. Is there anybody else that, well, what are you doing now? Because look, this was a lot in the beginning of your career. You're now, I would say, OG.
Kinda.
At the age of 23. But I mean, in terms of hours in the industry, transactions that you've done. You're like at year 10, year 15 in terms of experience.
Right.
Like, what are you doing now in terms of that, how to sharpen, how does Salah get better now?
Yeah, so I think I get better with each transaction. I get better. Like I still come across stuff, and you know this very well. You guys have done a lot of transactions, but you still come across a transaction. You're like, I've never seen this before. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So learning a lot through transactions. Also, always like being open to conversations with people who do things different than I do.
Yeah.
Like you guys inspire me a lot with your social media stuff. Every time I look at it, I'm like, man, like this is really impressive.
What you're good at, like get better at it. Like you want to be like the best. Like I said, you're a young man. You're now in a position where you could start, making some of those investments and, being an investor yourself, of course, helps you with your clients because you could see through that same lens
Exactly
what they're seeing through. I mean, it's all about those numbers. Those numbers got to work.
Right.
What type of doesn't need a property manager because it's something to be self-managed. And let's talk about that because I feel like you've had a lot of success not only working with some investors or even some repeat clients. So,
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So early on, I'll share a funny story with you real quick. In my first year, the fourth client I ever got, they were for sale by owner, and they had a house in Manchester. At this time, I'm still working at Dunkin' Donuts. All right, it was the one job I kept.
Oh, you're still there? I didn't know that.
Still there, yeah. I go to their house in Manchester, for sale by owner. They're like, hey, we're not going to let you sell this house. We need to sell it right away. We're going to go with someone that we've worked with in the past.
Yeah.
But we're going to build a house in Amherst, New Hampshire, and you could sell that house. It's going to be a new construction home. I leave this appointment. I'm just like, there's no way. They're not going to let me sell this ranch in Manchester, but they're going to have me sell a new construction home in Amherst? Yeah, right. So I was like, okay, thank you so much. I'm at Dunkin' Donuts. I'm working my shift, and the lady calls me. It's her and her partner who are doing this new construction.
Yeah.
She calls me. She says, hey, can you come out tomorrow? Like, can you come see the lot where we're getting ready to list it? I was like, oh, my God. This is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
I have no idea where Amherst, New Hampshire is. I've never heard of this place. I'm from Haverhill, right? So I have my mom drive me to Amherst, New Hampshire to go see this place. She literally drops me off in front of the lot and leaves. I sit down and I talk to these sellers, these investors. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I know exactly how to sell it. Like I had asked people from the office, how do I go about this? They told me everything to say and everything what to do.
Yeah.
And those were the first investors I ever met and I worked with. I sold that house for them, that new construction home. And then throughout that year, we probably went on to do 5 or 6 more transactions. Wow. And then each year since, we've done work together. So that's just a very funny story. And I talk to them now. At that time, they didn't know that was my mother that dropped me off. So down the road, when I told them,
like, is that your driver?
Exactly. That's exactly what they said. And I was just like, this is someone I work with.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
So they become a big. Those people I work with all the time, and along the way, continuing to call people for sale by owners. I met another guy who does a lot of flips.
Yeah.
Probably does like last year he did probably 13 sides between buying and selling.
Wow.
And we just every year, work together, find opportunities.
No, that's incredible. No, that's hilarious. Dude, by the way,
when I think back to it, it's just.
It's always funny because it's like it's so new, and like of course we still come across new stuff.
Yeah.
Every year, but like that first year, it's like drinking from the fire hose. It's like. Wow.
Yeah.
And it's so different, but like that's the part I love about real estate.
The adrenaline.
Let's talk about like the passion, like what gets you up every day. I mean, the thing I love about real estate is I love seeing people and ultimately helping people. I'm really a coach by nature.
Yeah.
So be able to, help people through that process, talk to people, and really it's such a big decision.
Right.
That people are making. You want them to have, everything buttoned up, because it's so big.
100%.
So you want to make sure that everything's being done the right way. What gets you fired up? What do you really love about real estate?
Yeah, for sure. That's what it is. And to touch on that and to speak on how you really do live by that. We did a transaction together, remember, in Manchester on Fuller Street. And being on the list side a lot, you see agents who maybe don't do the best by their client, and you on the list side don't really have anything to say about it. You just kind of you work for your own seller client.
Yeah.
I remember when we did the transaction together. We were obviously very good buds and like friends for a while. I was excited to do a transaction with you, but you were also super good at taking care of your client.
Yeah,
and that's where I was like, Kendall's an awesome person. He's even more awesome of an agent. Yeah. And like they really live by what they tell their clients. Like they take care of them 100%. So that was just a cool experience that we had and got to work together.
Yeah.
But I think the same thing. Like it's exciting. Like these people put their trust in you.
Yeah.
Like you are when you work for a buyer, you work for a seller. you are the person that's representing them. Like everything you say is an impression of them.
Yeah.
Like every communication you have, if they're they love a house and they really want to buy it, the way you articulate that to the other agent, to the sellers and to a degree, is going to give them their odds of getting it or not getting it.
Yeah.
So it's a serious responsibility.
Yeah.
And it's exciting when things pan out and they get exactly what they want because of the effort that you put into it.
Absolutely.
It's such a I don't even know. It's a rewarding feeling. It really is. It changes someone's trajectory of life by buying or selling a house and you making it successful for them.
Like how good is this feeling when, especially where the market is now, when your buyer
20 offers, 30
gets
offers.
that offer accepted and they beat out 10, 15, 20 people. Talk about that feeling.
Oh my God. Like it makes me want to celebrate every time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The buyers are stoked, right? It's against the odds that they would get it.
Yeah.
But the work that you put in with them and the guidance that you gave them helped them prevail and get that house that they really wanted.
Absolutely.
And it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
There's no way to articulate it. It's a great feeling.
So, I mean, me coming from the football world, it's like getting a sack.
Yeah.
In football is like the best feeling. And honestly, I mean, don't play football anymore. It's up there because
it's equivalent.
It's hard. Yeah. It's really, really hard. And honestly, you just get a few of them, like you're a Pro Bowler. So like to get just even like your clients through in such a adverse market where it's tough, tough to be a buyer in certain situations. Of course, just kind of generalizing everything. But overall, I mean, with the lack of inventory, it's tough. That feeling is like, woo,
we got this.
Yeah. We made it. Like, I mean, I've been there, like, people crying because it's like, especially when, everything really first started to change. I mean, you're talking about 10, 12, 15 offers, on places. And, but at the end of the day, I'm a big believer. And it's what I always tell them. It's like, you're going to end up with the property that's meant for you.
Exactly.
Like there's a reason why that last one didn't work out. And there's a reason why we had to wait this long. Like Kristen, she had a client, they looked for contemporary homes and, which is, unique type of property.
For sure.
And we showed them houses for 2 years. And, they're very, very close on so many of them, but we're just like, the right one's going to come.
Right.
Then, of course, 2 years later, there it is. Boom, right there.
The one that they love.
The one that they love the most. They even said that. They actually like that one more than the other ones that they missed out on. And, that, man, that is so rewarding, 100%. Being on the side. And, obviously we as realtors, we deal with a lot. We deal with a lot of emotions. We're therapists. Yeah. We sometimes, like me and Kristen even watch kids at closings and, things like that. We wear a lot of hats, but I mean, being able to be there for someone during such a crucial moment, that's what gets, us fired up every day. And I'm sure you too.
100%.
Like I said, I mean, there's so much we could talk about. So going into it, 2 questions.
Yeah.
First, one, what would be some advice you'd give your younger self? You've been here long enough, and obviously we know how those first couple years were. Like, what would something you would say to yourself, back then when you first got going?
For sure, that's a good question. I would tell myself to probably chill out a bit.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think when you have a strong desire to do something, you put a lot of pressure on it. Mm-hmm. And I think I caused myself a lot of unnecessary stress.
Yeah.
Right? Fortunately, a lot of the things that I wanted to do, buy a house, get an investment property, help out family in a certain way, I've been able to do. And I don't think I needed to put as much stress on myself at the times that I did.
Yeah.
I think it still would have happened minus the stress.
Yeah.
So I told myself, be clear on what you want for sure and work towards what you want on an everyday basis and just enjoy the process of it.
Yeah.
Like things aren't always going to work out perfectly all the time.
Yeah.
But as long as you're itching towards it all the time, eventually you'll get there. And that's something that I've become better at probably over the last year or two. Is just like when I'm feeling stressed, I just let it go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, I know what I'm supposed to do today to get closer to where I want to be. I'm just going to do that.
Yeah.
And if things don't pan out, I have tomorrow to make it up for it.